Chunks are good on this side. Chunks are good on this side. I want you to protect yourself at all times. Keep this fight clean at all times. And what I say, you must obey. Good luck. Touch them up.
All right, here we go. The WBO, WBC, and Ring Magazine belts on the line. 12 rounds of action scheduled for the Unified Junior Lightweight Championship of the World. Kenny Bayless, the third man in the ring tonight. Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson are ready to go.
It's getting live in here. Woo!
Jamel Herring and Christina Parker bringing you the action. The crowd is on their feet, and here we go, round one.
I didn't hear the bell. I didn't even hear the bell.
Shakur Stevenson, the southpaw. Oscar Valdez, orthodox. It's been quite some time since Oscar Valdez has fought a southpaw. In fact, back in June of 2015, so almost 7 years it's been. And he's got a slick southpaw in front of him in Shakur Stevenson.
I wouldn't know nothing about that.
I have the perfect broadcast partner tonight in Jamel Herring, former WBO champ. In fact, Shakur Stevenson's last opponent, and I know you would want more than anything to be in this fight tonight, Jamel, but you're here sitting with me, and that is because that fighter right there who just landed that left hand, Shakur Stevenson, your thoughts on your previous foe?
Slick, dangerous, sharp, just lasered in, you know, and credit, you know, the Valdez for taking this matchup as well, you know, to prove that he's a champion in his own right, and he wants to be considered the best. And he said in the fight he couldn't be considered the best until he took on this fight. So I'm just actually happy just to be here to witness, you know, something that could be special.
And a little slip there from Valdez as he wings some of those hooks. And Jamel, your quick assessment of Oscar Valdez. What should the fans be looking for from him tonight?
I think Oscar has to bring in that, as they say sometimes, that strong warrior Mexican style. He can't be in there with a boxing match like he's trying to do right now. It's not going to happen. I'm not taking anything from Valdez, but I've been in there where I've actually tried to outbox a guy who's clearly just to have a crowd-pleasing fight, but he has to go in there and handle business.
Nice left hand to the body from Stevenson, and it was really evident to us in speaking with both of these fighters yesterday that they have to take the crowd noise out of it. They can't let the momentum draw either one of them out of their game plan. That was particularly a point of emphasis from Eddie Reynoso to his fighter and Oscar Valdez. Do not let the crowd draw you in and make you fight a war and get you off of your game plan.
They both need to be tunnel vision because this is a big matchup, not only in boxing, but for their career. So you have to be laser sharp focused at all times. I mean, sometimes the crowd can help you at times, but, you know, sometimes it can be a distraction and get you caught up.
Shakur Stevenson steady working off that lead. Right hand jab. Oscar Valdez looking to land that hook. He got one on the inside there with the left hand. Trying to test Shakur's chin early. Stevenson responding well, backing Valdez back into the corner as we wrap up round one at MGM.
Good round for Shakur Stevenson, but we saw some glimpses of what Valdez needs to do at the end of that round, and I think Valdez needs to do a lot more of that and consistent if he wants to have a chance of cracking that code.
And what was that?
And now just being aggressive and being smart. It was smart pressure. He wasn't just running in there, you know. He was actually being patient, but he has to stay in Shakur Stevenson's chest.
Round two, 12-round scheduled championship fight. 3 belts on the line. Shakur Stevenson steady with that jab. Goes a straight left hand.
And same thing we pointed out the last fight in terms of with Keyshawn Davis. They're both known for setting up that jab as a range finder before they try to throw something real big, you know? Like, he'll keep it out there to keep you honest and keep you guessing, but if you fall asleep behind the wheel, he's going to sneak in, like you pointed out, that sneaky left hand to the body.
And it's no secret that Oscar Valdez, albeit undefeated, fighting a slick defensive southpaw was not his opponent of choice. He almost pretty much admitted that he felt forced into this fight by, you know, even the people of Mexico, boxing fans, etc., calling for him to make this fight happen. And he earned the opportunity winning that belt from Miguel Berchelt. Nothing to take away from that. That was a spectacular performance, but his last fight against Conceição was not his best. Obviously, a lot going on in that fight leading up to it, testing positive twice for a banned substance.
And you actually see some glimpses in those early rounds with the Conceição fight right now when he couldn't get past the jab. You know, it was the spacing, the timing, and that's what I pointed out that he has issues with. You know, he doesn't know sometimes how to close those gaps. And right now it's showing that he's having a rough time trying to get to Shakur Stevenson.
It also is very evident to us sitting here ringside how much bigger Shakur is than Oscar is tonight. I mean, Stevenson told us he wouldn't give us his exact weight, but knew for sure he'd be the bigger fighter. And coming in at the scale yesterday right at 130, I mean, I do think his days at lightweight are numbered, but he does look a lot bigger tonight. Yeah. Sitting here ringside.
Yeah, definitely.
Against Oscar Valdez as he looks to get one of those signature left hooks in, does Valdez.
And he woke the crowd up.
Many people feeling that is one of the only questions lingering about Stevenson is how can his chin hold up to power. To his credit, nonetheless, no one's tested it really to this point with any devastating shots. You got some great shots in round 5.
I hit him with a good hard shot.
Did.
You know, but again, he has a great poker face and it's rare that you'll get that second opportunity again.
Oscar Valdez trying to find his openings here in round 2, but again, good round for Shakur Stevenson. 10 punches compared to 64 from Oscar Valdez.
Almost doubling. And let's also mention that Shakur Stevenson has landed 46% of his power punches so far compared to Oscar Valdez 25%. Oscar Valdez has only landed, one jab.
Yeah,
out of 24 throws.
And that jab's got to become a weapon for Oscar if he's going to try to set up the combinations, because, you know, oftentimes the jab somewhat is negated when it's an orthodox versus a southpaw fighter, but it's constant. There's a couple right hands from Valdez as he claps his gloves together, but Shakur confident he's getting out of range here. Valdez looking to pick it up, get his rhythm going in round 3.
You know, in their right hand is a southpaw killer. So Shakur has to be very wary of that right hand at times as well. I know he wants to look good and show that, you know, he's not a bothered effective, but he has to, you know, be reminded that Oscar Valdez is dangerous at all times, and he has to keep a clear head and stay sharp at all times. Don't fall asleep behind the wheel.
That was interesting to note that, you know, Stevenson picked up on the fact that when Valdez throws those wide shots, that sometimes he takes a break or he needs a reset in between, and he's trying to time him right in between those hooks. So that's something to keep your eye on when Valdez does let those shots go.
And that's funny that you said it, because he did say that he feels that Valdez fights in spurts, and so far it does look like that, because he threw those combinations and he resisted and waits and waits and waits. But Shakur has to do what he says, and he has to capitalize on it and not allow Oscar to breathe in those moments, in those breaks.
Oscar looking to walk down Stevenson, but not letting any punches go, perhaps needing to use that left hook there to try to cut the ring off, where Shakur is going to continue to just move along the outside.
I think Shakur, you know, trying to get to that body more is the right thing to do to take away some of that power from Valdez, especially with that dangerous left hook that we know that Oscar Valdez is known to keep in his arsenal.
You know, everything that Valdez is throwing, whether it land or not, this crowd's going crazy as they get a Slight warning here from Kenny Bayless about a low blow, but both fighters, no harm, no foul. 7 seconds that he was waiting for Valdez in the center of the ring before round 4 began. Valdez looking to get on him early, and very few times has he been getting off first, Jamel. I think that's one of the things probably Eddie needed to tell him is, you're waiting too long, you're being too reactive. We need you to start to be first.
In the last round, Oscar Valdez tied the most Shakur Stevenson had ever been hit in a round, which is 15 times, which is impressive. Let's see if he can keep that up, though, throughout the entire matchup, because he's definitely going to need to stay active and busy in order to keep Shakur more on the defensive end, and not how we see right now, where he's just letting Shakur, take off his offense and pick him apart. And this is the only issue that I have with Oscar Valdez, honestly. He'll just sit and wait and wait and wait. And by then, you never know what these judges are watching. Sometimes they look at the activity, from the beginning. Some look at the end. Some look at it, from who's staying the busier, fighter throughout the round. So you have to prepare for what's to come and just stay busy in the overall.
And at this point, Shakur Stevenson has been the busier fighter, primarily because he's continued to pop out that jab. Even getting a slight warning there for using that jab as a measuring stick, if you will, as Valdez tried to work on the inside.
Shakur, speaking to the referee, needs to stay focused. Oscar is very determined to get to him. And one thing I like about Valdez, when he gets there, he's going to take the opportunities, presented to him, in order, to inflict some damage in there.
But it's one thing, something to keep an eye on too, is it's one thing to kind of get in there when they start to clinch, but it just seems like Valdez was just doing some work on the inside, and Bayless kind of stepped in to break it up already. So something to kind of maybe keep our eye on as we move forward. And now Oscar is taking a little bit more punishment here from Stevenson, as Stevenson starts to get into more of a rhythm. He kind of opens his mouth, sometimes sticks his tongue out. Those are little indicators, if you've watched him fight, that he feels like he's getting into a rhythm as he looks to the referee.
Stay focused.
Bayless. I didn't see what happened there, but at the same time,
can't focus on talking to the ref.
Shakur sometimes just using that jab as a rangefinder.
And to control the distance as well. And he's been doing a great job controlling distance, because Oscar will sit out there and just look at you and watch Shakur just, pity-pat, and
pick on a great performance, saying that this is one of the hardest training camps that he's ever had. Had some fantastic sparring with Terrence Bud Crawford, Lamont Roach, David Navarro, to name a few. Feels like he's never been more ready for an opportunity, and it also seems, in watching his career develop, Jamel, that he rises to the level of competition each and every time. The level of his opposition. You brought out the very best in him because you were the best fighter that he had faced to that point.
To this point, yeah. And we found out that the complaining from Shakur came from the heads clashing. But again, Shakur has to, let the referee do his job. You just focus on what's in front of you and continue to, to box and fight your fight. Don't let, whatever else is going on get you out of your element in your game. And another stat that we forgot to mention, Oscar Valdez is 9 for 9 in Las Vegas. 9 wins, 9 KOs.
Oh, yes, he is. Obviously being undefeated, but the fact that he's been able to get a knockout each and every time is impressive. And he's looking to get one right now as he shoots that right uppercut about 4 times in a row, backing Shakur Stevenson into the corner.
And Shakur came marching right out to him, but Valdez fired back. He's fired back. But as you could tell, Shakur did that slight moment when he came out the corner and marched. He's trying to impose his will that he wasn't bothered, he wasn't hurt, and he wants to feel like he's the bigger man. And he's gonna walk down the little man all night. And it's amazing how like Shakur was standing directly in front of you, and it seemed like, you know, he's in the danger zone, but he always finds a way just to slightly get out of harm's way each and every time, and he's always in range to come back with something.
Yeah, ever since he turned pro, I mean, he always talked about distance, being a master of the distance and range. That's such a unique perspective having you on the broadcast tonight, being that you have been in the ring with him in your last fight and you know exactly what it's like.
But credit to, you know, Oscar, you know, he's not discouraged. He's not discouraged at all. And he's continuing, you know, marching forward and trying to fight his fight.
Oscar,
I would just like to see more of it. That's all.
Valdez looking a tad bit frustrated here as he's kind of walking forward with that high guard, but really unable to land too many flush shots here on Stevenson, as a brief smile comes out from Stevenson with a near miss. Although the crowd wouldn't let you think that.
I think that shot bothered Valdez because he stopped for a minute and he's letting Shakur do whatever he wants now. And that's frustrating Valdez. And he knows he put that round in the bag, and he's feeling it right now.
Playing to his family, who is sitting right behind him there in the blue corner, as dancing to the music a little bit here. Standing in the middle of the ring, as you can see from this wide shot. More than ready to go, feeling like they're giving Valdez some extra time here in the corner, as it's some veteran tactics perhaps being played by Eddie Reynoso, and
the mouthpiece,
he doesn't have his mouthpiece. So Valdez getting a little bit more time here as they spend all that time and yet forget the mouthpiece. But hey, I don't put anything past Eddie Reynoso and what they're doing. He is a very savvy trainer, and perhaps you said that there was a shot at the end of that last round that might have bothered him. So a few extra seconds for their fighter on that stool. You never know what that could do. And Valdez coming swinging out. And Valdez goes down. Looks like they're counting it a knockdown here.
Punch. It was a punch. Off balance or not, it was a punch.
And I'm sure we'll give you several looks on the replay, but definitely went down onto the ropes that held him up, despite Valdez saying no way.
He's mentally frustrated, though.
And you get the feeling Stevenson's the type of fighter that you don't want to make him more angry,
you don't
make him more upset, because now he's going to work.
I've been in that state when I thought he was going to slow down, and he just gets motivated and busier if you just sit there. And I made that mistake my last fight against him. And right now, Valdez is doing that, looking for. I don't know if he's looking for the opening, but at some point you have to try to create openings, and rather than try to look for them, especially with a guy like Shakur Stevenson, because he'll do this all night. But he's off balance, and that's what caused the knockdown early in the round. Him being off balance, and Shakur just capitalizing with the short check hook.
Shakur supremely confident right now, just pouring it on as he lands a nice right hand, does Valdez there. One quick shot to keep Stevenson honest as he continues to come back and stay composed. But look, Valdez has the heart of a warrior, and he has no quit on him, but you can see that he is frustrated here in round 6.
Good body, though. Good body. You know, Oscar Barrett attempted to go to the body. But there you go. I don't think that was low. I think it was on the belt, but I don't think it was low.
Stevenson finding his way around that guard of Valdez, whose face is bright red at this point. Again, hooking around the guard with that left hand, trying to slap down, bring that guard down.
Technical, you know what I mean?
And Valdez answers with the counter right hand, but Shakur continues to keep him right there.
He's marching forward.
Down to the body to end that round, but Valdez in that fight, I believe, round 2, and then was also knocked down against Genesis Servania. So I think earlier in his career, too, against Tamayo, there was something that was ruled a knockdown, but not really. And you could tell that he wasn't really too hurt from that. Bounced right back up, saying it was a slip, but nonetheless, I mean, just a deeper hole for Valdez at this point to try to dig himself out as we are past the halfway mark already in this one, round 7. Valdez looking to solve the puzzle that is Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson has landed 47% of his power shots compared to 29% from Valdez.
Credit to Valdez. He's marching forward. He's trying. But right now, you know, Shakur's just having fun in there. But I think Shakur needs to step on the gas a little bit more himself. You know, don't give Oscar a chance to get back into this fight.
And for Oscar at this point, Jamel, what can he do? What do you think Eddie Reynoso is telling him in the corner to try to get some of these rounds in the bag, or at least work his way in to land a shot like that?
Straight shots. Woo.
There's a couple right hands that landed.
Get mean in there. Show no respect.
Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. is on the Spanish broadcast team sitting here ringside, and he has stood up, took off his headset, and is literally cheering on Oscar Valdez, trying to get something out of his fellow Mexican fighter. And Shakur getting a warning here for kind of using that jab just to hold the head.
You can't keep it out there. You can't keep it out there. You can use it as a range fighter, but you can't keep it out there. And if you ask me, Shakur kind of took a break from the last round. But at the same time, after the knockdown, but at the same time, Valdez stepped it up a lot in this round with his aggression. Can't.
Oh, yeah, I think that this Valdez that's coming forward now, trying to turn on the aggression, is gonna be his best chance to try to win some of these rounds. He cannot just continue to follow Shakur Stevenson around the ring.
Right.
You gotta let your hands go and start throwing punches. Take some risks if you want to give yourself a chance to win this fight.
He's trying though. That was a little low.
That was a low blow. There's been a few things, low blow, the pine, and holding out there with the jab. I mean,
but credit to Bayless, he's letting him fight. He is letting him fight. Some warnings here and there, but he's letting him fight. To range find, but when you're placing your, as you see Shakur placing his right hand on Shakur on Valdez's head, that could be, that can actually frustrate your opponent, because if you're trying to move forward and somebody's putting their hand out on top of your head and stopping it right there, so you can see stopping you in your place, it gets frustrating. And in that slight moment though, in frustration, Shakur sneaks in a left hand shot, because Oscar is frustrated, thinking like, hey ref, and boom, he's hit. So yeah, I mean, it's effective, but it's effective in terms of a range fighter, but it can also be used to get in your opponent's head, to mess with him a bit.
Well, and I think again in that exchange too, Valdez actually got hit with a slight low blow from Shakur and looked off to Kenny Bayless again. So
yeah.
A few tactics tit for tat both ways, and them trying to get whatever advantage that they can. But you got 2 undefeated world champions in there, and they're still trying to establish who's boss. Although at this point right now, Shakur Stevenson is up, in my opinion, heavy on the cards, and Valdez just looking to land a big shot right now and having a really tough time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying it time and time again, but I haven't seen an adjustment made at this point from the Valdez side.
And a lot of it, he's probably, frustrated, also thinking that, the referee isn't, helping his case either. Like you pointed out, there has been some punches that's been hit low or on the belt, and, they just been ignored at times. And And it can be frustrating. It's like, you know, hey, like if you're gonna continue letting this guy do what he wants, like, you know, like ref, like what's going on here? Bad enough I can't hit him like I want to, but man.
Valdez putting everything behind these punches.
And again, you know, with Shakur leaving it out there, you know he's already been warned, but it seems, you know, it's not much happening. You know, it's not much of a, you know, not much being called at this point in time for that, you know, for holding his head out there, as you can see right there. And right now, Shakur just he's doing whatever he wants, you know. You can tell Valdez is just being frustrated.
Well, at this point too, it's looking for that home run shot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's looking for that one shot now. That's not how you're gonna get it, especially with a guy who's basically considered
support his stablemate and Reynoso stable. I wonder if he wishes if he could jump up in that corner and tell his fighter anything. I mean, there's only so much that you can do, but you can tell in his face. He's very, very serious.
And Shakur feels a win over Valdez tonight is a win over not only just his opponent, but the whole entire team.
Yes, he said that. He absolutely did.
As well.
He did say that, Jamel.
Nice body. He's had nice right hand from Valdez.
About 4 of them in a row.
He's trying, pushing. I think he got Shakur's attention.
And he's still a dangerous fighter.
Oh yeah.
And you have to respect his power at all times. 23 knockouts in his 30 fights, but we saw, particularly in that Burchell fight, he does have that one-punch knockout power.
Right.
Albeit completely different style of opponent, but still that punch still comes with that much power nonetheless. We're here in round 9, and this pace Shakur Stevenson has no problem with whatsoever.
17. And last round, Valdez beat the record by landing actually 17 punches against Shakur Stevenson. So, you know, Valdez has the right idea. We just need to see more of it throughout this entire fight, especially going and leading down, throwing close to at the end of this fight. He definitely has to pick up the pace and the gas. Oh, that was a nice little short left uppercut.
Uppercut with the left hand gets in for Stevenson, and Valdez continuing with that kind of high guard defense, but finally unleashing that right hand there as
little body shot there.
Stevenson kind of keeping it in the same gear these last couple rounds.
Like you say, he's more concerned. He's more. Oh, nice combination there.
Down to the body with the left hand.
Take some of that steam and you know. Oh.
That was a nice left hand there from Stevenson.
For sure, left hand from Stevenson.
Stevenson just trying to get out of range, and that's what Oscar Valdez, though, has to do. He has to try to throw those hooks and catch Stevenson trying to move, particularly to that left side, what he likes to do when his back's up against the ropes. Landed a good body shot there, but it's just not enough here in this round. Probably only landed 2 or 3 punches this whole round. Tonight by Stevenson. How many times have we talked about him throwing or even landing that signature left hook? We haven't.
For the most part, though, the right hand has been the key.
Body work and a few of those shots getting in here for Valdez as we start round 10.
But like again, sometimes it could be in spurts, and then it goes back to being too defensive. For Shakur, you know, he has to be, you know, he has to take advantage of those opportunities and those openings. Good attack. Good attacking effort from Valdez.
I mean, like, you can just see how he just moves his head. It's always off the line.
You think he's there, and he's gone. By the time he throw it, he's gone. And that's frustrating.
It's frustrating, but it's also beautiful to watch if you're not, in the ring.
If you're not in there.
Exactly.
Like, how do I get to this kid? Like, yeah, you like, come, like, man, I'm throwing everything at him, and I just cannot land on this kid. But yeah, when he throws back, he lands 80% of his shots.
Yeah, and, Valdez's body language there didn't look good. He clambered in for a second as he backed up against the ropes here, and maybe Stevenson senses something here as it's almost like he winced for a second. Yeah.
And Oscar tried to say it was low, but I think it was right on the belt line, and Score didn't care about it, care for his complaints. You even got the great Julio Cesar Chavez in here out of his seat. He's commentating tonight, but he's in the corner of Valdez clearly.
Yeah, it's interesting to see a broadcaster cheer on the fighter like that, but
took his headset off on everything.
But at this point, I mean, what are you going to tell Chavez Sr.? You're not going to tell him anything, right? He's a legend. And right now, his fighter, his countryman, I should say, could use all that encouragement because he's in deep waters right now against Stevenson.
And he scores, playing the role of the bully.
I mean, he's just like smiling right now, walking back.
Bring that hand back. Gotta bring that hand back.
Don't hold him.
And Valdez, he's trying. He's giving it his all. You gotta let him respect that. Good body shot from Stevenson. Oh.
I just wonder if, something's going on with Valdez's left hand, shoulder, elbow, something. I'm used to just seeing that hook just get winged out there and just, I mean, granted, you're fighting a southpaw, it's a little different. You're fighting a slick fighter, but it's amazing to me how that has been completely a non-factor.
I think, like you said earlier, though, I think he just took away his best weapon. And I mean by Stevenson, just taking away Valdez's best tool. I mean, one of his best weapons in the arsenal. I mean, he's still trying to throw it, but you can't clearly say maybe something wrong with his hand, but he's frustrated. Look, I mean, clearly written on his face, his frustration. Like, he's trying, and I can't get to this kid.
Shakur down to the body with the jab and a slick combination up top. And now a hard warning comes with a ton of boos here. Probably the crowd feeling like, how many times is he going to get a warning? It's round 11, but at this point, it's almost elementary. A point deduction.
The damage is done.
Correct.
Oh.
Valdez continuing to stand there, show his heart and what he's made of, and letting his hands go here under 40 seconds to go in round 11, but just obviously frustrated, and a nice combination sends Valdez back here. Just picking him apart is Shakur Stevenson.
Stop! Watch your head, fellas. Watch your head. Good, good, good.
more Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
The ring. And I mean, I think he did give you kudos in the fighter meeting for just saying, going those rounds with you even made him a better fighter, elevated his game, being able to show another dimension of what he had to offer.
And it was a mutual respect thing. You know, I know during the build-up, it was a lot of bad blood at his team, but, you know, in the end, you know, it's the fight game. It's the fight game, and we're both, you know, we're both gentlemen, and he's a good kid overall.
And right now, Oscar Valdez needs to give it everything that he's got. Because Shakur Stevenson has put on a dominant performance this evening. Valdez letting those hooks go. Shakur Stevenson said, I'm a superstar. I just got to show it to the world. I'm going to put on a dominant performance tonight. And I know that fight fans love knockouts. I know they want to see stoppages, but he's been dominant this evening. He's negated any sort of jab from Oscar Valdez. He's negated any hooks from Oscar Valdez.
That's the craftsmanship.
The distance. Perhaps not the offensive array that maybe we thought we were going to see from him and from Valdez, but he was just too frustrated.
Yeah. That hurt. I think that hurt Valdez. He's trying.
You keep saying
he's trying.
Like he's trying, of course.
You gotta give him that. Yeah, he's keep pushing forward.
Of course he is.
He's a champion.
He's a world champion. Absolutely.
A respected world champion.
Shakur's got a minute to work here as kind of buckle down on that shot to sit down a bit more on that right-handed Shakur, but looks like he's on his way to becoming a unified junior lightweight world champion.
Less than a minute.